Representative Frazier, your next bill is House File 855, and I believe your motion is to re-refer House File 855 to the Judiciary, Finance, and Civil Law Committee.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
All right, and I do see that you have a DE2 amendment. Would you like to move that amendment?
Yes, I would, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and it's my understanding that nonpartisan staff will walk through what that DE2 amendment does.
That is also correct.
All right, we'll call on Mr. Diebel then.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. This House file contains much language that was included in a bill last year that was heard by this committee. The DE2 reduces the introduced version by eliminating several sections. I'll touch on what remains in the proposal. Article 1, Section 1 establishes a Public Safety Innovation Board within the Office of Justice Program. On page 2 of the amendment, it lists the powers and duties. The general direction is for the board to increase the efficiency, effectiveness, and capacity of public safety providers, and it enumerates several ways in which the board would do that, including monitoring trends in crime, providing information on criminal trends and research to the commissioner, and awarding grants and evaluating grants. Section 2 of Article 1 appropriates ongoing appropriation of $4.825 million to the Office of Justice Program to increase staffing. And in general terms, it's to simplify grant procedures, expand the pool of grant applicants. But specifically, it directs the office to hire 8 additional staff members to provide training and technical assistance to grantees, hire 12 additional community outreach specialists, and hire additional grant compliance and financial compliance staff. Section 3 of Article 1 is the appropriation to fund the Innovation Board discussed in Section 1. Moving to Article 2 of the bill, this contains, Section 1 modifies the Data Practices Act, the section that covers body camera data. There are 2 key provisions in this. On lines 4.1 and 4.11 of the amendment, this directs agencies to provide complete disclosure of information and recordings that are related to discharge of a firearm by a peace officer or where a peace officer uses force and there's substantial bodily harm. The remaining new language in Section 1 of Article 2 relates to disclosure of body camera data and dashboard cam data to next of kin when a person is killed by the use of force by police officers. And it establishes timelines for the disclosure to the public as well. Section 2 of Article 2 creates 2 appropriations. One is to the Commissioner of Public Safety to create a statewide cloud-based data storage database for law enforcement agencies to submit their body camera data. It also appropriates $9 million for agencies to purchase the body cameras for their officers, and it provides detail about who should be considered at the top of the list for eligibility for those grants. Moving to Article 3, this contains a variety of provisions regarding law enforcement policy and oversight. Section 1 permits rather than requires the post board to direct a law enforcement agency to conduct an investigation of an allegation of misconduct on behalf of an officer employed by the agency. Section 2 of Article 3 directs the post board to adopt a rule that empower the post board with taking action on a peace officer misconduct if it's a violation of the code of conduct, even if the allegation did not result in criminal charges. Section 3 of Article 3 adds additional requirements that must be included in body camera policies adopted by agencies that outfit their officers with body cameras. And these mirror what we discussed earlier in the Data Practices Act. So it directs the agencies in their mandated policies to include the updates to the statutory requirements about disclosure. Article 3, Section 4 would authorize local units of government to establish civilian oversight councils and grant an oversight council the authority to make findings of fact and impose discipline on officers. Article 3, Section 5, this amends an appropriation from 2021, which is an additional $6 million for post-reimbursement of law enforcement training, and it expands the use for these reimbursement grants to include officer training in the use of force. And finally, in Article 3, Section 6, it appropriates an additional, appropriates $1.45 million in the first year and $1.203 million in the second year to the Post Board to hire investigators and additional staff to perform compliance reviews and investigate alleged code of conduct violations. That concludes the overview of the DE2, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Diebel. And because this is a DE, my intent is that we'll go ahead and vote on this, and then we'll have full discussion on the bill as amended with this DE. So all those in favor of the DE2 amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails, and the DE2 amendment is adopted. And so now, Representative Frazier, if you want to tell us about your bill as amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, staff, for laying that out and for all the work that Mr. Debo, Mr. Johnson, that you both have put in to help me get this in the shape that I need to get into to present it to the committee. So last year, I carried the innovation package, and the whole idea was to take an innovative approach, a more data-driven approach to how we address public safety and community safety in the state of Minnesota. We got very close to getting this done last year, so I'm hoping we can get this in place this year. And really, it's about innovation. It's about providing local control back to our local jurisdictions in regards to the civilian review boards and what they can do there. It's about transparency when you look at the body camera policies that we want to put in place to allow families to have access. And we know and we've seen how this can kind of bring the temperature down around things when they happen in our community when we have that type of transparency. It also provides an opportunity to help build trust between law enforcement and the community, because we can see what's happening and we can have those conversations. I do have, I don't know if I need anyone to testify. We can't, but I do have staff here from DPS if there are specific questions about things. But this bill is really focused on providing resources for law enforcement and also building those collaborative connections and helping to build trust between the community. That's what the focus of the bill is. So I will stand for any particular questions.
Thank you, Representative Frazier. Do we have anybody from the public who wishes to testify? All right, I'm not seeing any, so we can open it up for member discussion. It's a very low-key committee today.
Jess, I heard that. Jess,
Yeah, Vice Chair Feist, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank you for bringing this bill to us. I think it's really important and will do a lot of good. And specifically, I just wanted to reference the civilian review section, allowing civilian review councils to really have a role in public safety. I think this is a really positive development. Will build trust and also allow local communities to really figure out what they need to have those relationships and to support public safety. So thank you.
Further member discussion?
I struggle to even want to speak on the bill.
All right, go ahead, Representative Novotny.
I struggle to even speak on the bill. And I realize that this is the accumulation of several years' worth of work and the path we've been going on. I think there's a whole bunch of gotchas in this bill. I'm not in favor of, I'm not going to vote for it. I realize where it's going to go, but we've got Public Innovation Board. We're putting people on this council that most of which are appointed by the governor and really aren't involved in law enforcement. I can't imagine if this is a medical board or if this was a aviation board, the council wouldn't look like this if we wanted to improve aviation safety. The civilian review boards, we've talked about this multiple times. There's nothing prohibiting civilian review boards from being established in local agencies right now. I think the body camera provisions, many of which are fine, but there's a couple nuggets in there that are going to trip people up. And we don't need to beat the horse here, but I'm a no. But thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Representative Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Vani, I would like to, the pieces, I'm not sure exactly of the pieces that you believe are the gotchas or will catch people up, but I would like to talk, if we can offline, talk about those, because the bill's we're not done yet. So if we can talk about those, I'd like to get your thoughts, and I can see if I can clear up any misunderstandings about the trip you up points, because a bill that's basically designed to create more transparency and build trust, I don't want to have gotcha pieces in there. And I'm sure we're going to hear from law enforcement as they read thoroughly through the bill and get their feedback as well. So we'll be trying to incorporate that. And just in regards to the Innovation Board, there will be more conversation around that in terms of who's representative of that board. There was some compromise language that we got to toward the end of last year that is not in here, so I'm going to go back and take a look at that. But I'd love to get your thoughts so we can see if there's any way we can work together to make sure that board is representative in the way you think it needs to be.
Representative Frazier, you just said the Innovation Board. Did you mean the civilian?
No, I meant the, so I believe that Representative Votny was speaking to the Innovation Board with OJP.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me then.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? Any additional closing comments?
No, I think it's a good bill as is, but I'm always willing to work with Representative Votny has a background in law enforcement. I'm always willing to get that perspective to make sure we can make the bill better. So I would appreciate any support that we can get.
Thank you, Representative Frazier. And with that, you renew your motion that House File 855 as amended be re-referred to the Committee on Judiciary, Finance, and Civil Law. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The motion prevails.